Hello and welcome back to Kerbal Swiss RAM. It's time to do more plane reviews. Today we're starting with an Su-34 replica created by my friend Drake Kerman. This was supposed to be in the last video before I started having those problems that forced me to stop. And I'm now actually looking at a picture of the actual Su-34 and trying to compare it to this so that we have more of an indication of how much it actually looks like that. Of course, the image that I'm looking at does not show the underside, so I don't know. And it's really flat. Like, it looks really not, I mean, other than the clipping bits, like see, this is the kind of thing that annoys me with clipping. Like, it's just like, that's not a shape, and that's not how you'd paint a thing. If this was real life, you wouldn't paint it like this. That's what I mean when I say something has, like, ugly clipping. Like, this looks alright. Like, you can see that that's a bit off, but you don't really... It's only when I look close that I notice that. Whereas this just catches my eye immediately. Like, you would never paint a little, like, black line, a thin bit there, and then white there, and then black in a weird... You know what I mean? It's just... There's just little bits that, like, see, this kind of goes alright, but then this is a clusterfuck right here. You see what I mean? I'm just trying to explain that, because yeah, there we go. Anyhow, I'll stop ranting about that, and I'll go find a better image of the underside of this thing because I'm really curious to see if that matches up. Alright, so I've opened up Google image searches, and it's not as wide as this, it looks like. It's not as wide, but I could see why he made it this wide. It's kind of he's trying to make it fit in KSP with parts and stuff that's not really designed to make this kind of a plane. Although I think it could have been a little bit better done. It looks pretty nice. Let's go ahead and try it out. Alright, so while I was loading it up, I went ahead and read up a little bit about it. Apparently it's a two-seat tactical deployment against ground and naval forces type thing. Why is this air brake just on? Can you go off? What if I hit 1? What if I hit 2? What if I hit 3? What if I tap the brakes? Wait, that is the off position? Why is the off position, like, up? Hold on. That... I don't understand. Also, we're drifting quite badly to the side, and also these landing gear, what are they attached to? Because they are splaying out sideways quite spectacularly bad. That is interesting. It seems like it's attempted to be strutted down, but those struts I think might have broken or something. Also, I'm pretty sure your landing gear should be a little farther forward based on how this thing is refusing to take off. Also, wow, do you see how slow we're going? It's like the brakes are stuck on or something. This thing's barely moving. I'm sure once we get in the air, things will perform a little bit better, or at least I would hope. I turned on the aerodynamic forces so I could see why we're having this problem. Okay, we managed to get into the air, so that's a thing. Go ahead and turn that back off because apparently it has a memory leak associated with it. Oh hey, the brake thing went down. Wait a second. Is this attached to yaw control? It's attached, I mean not yaw control, pitch control? It was attached to pitch control, that's why. The whole time I was trying to pull up, it was just activating the air brake. Okay, bad idea. So that's the first thing that's a problem, is that it only has 2 turbojets, which makes the whole thing a bit slow because it is a fairly massive plane. I mean, if you look at this compared to most of the fighters that I've been sent in, this is actually quite massive. Also, I just noticed that the way these are placed is a bit strange. That is interesting. It does give it quite a significant surface to roll with, but it seems that they aren't terribly effective. I don't know why. Oh, you know what? No, that doesn't make sense. I was going to say it's because they're near the center of mass, but no. For roll, they are fairly far out on the sides of the plane. Maybe it's the fact that time is slowing down a little? I don't know. In any case, oh, you know what? It's the speed that we're flying at, because if I turn on the aero forces, you'll be like, oh, look, it's a lot of force, but, like, no? I don't know. That is interesting. If someone knows, please tell me, because that is intriguing me, why these don't seem to be all that effective at roll. Like, the rolling is, you know, it's fairly slow, the roll on it. But yeah, it's supposed to be a tactical bomber, so... It's supposed to be going against ground targets, so I'm not going to complain about it not being maneuverable and everything, like I've probably done too many times in the past with planes that are designed to be replicas of planes that aren't supposed to be fighting other planes. Like apparently this one isn't supposed to be. Oops. Okay, I thought I was gonna hit the building there for a moment, but this thing is not maneuverable enough for that to have been a danger right there. Let's see, is this supposed to go long range? I assume it's supposed to go long range. I'm actually trying to read it while talking about it. It's interesting. It's apparently also based on the Su-27. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at how much fuel it has on board. Quite a bit, and it's going through it at a rate of about 1.14 or so, you know, well, it changes with altitude, of course. Looks like... let's see. Is that 1 per second? Yeah, that's 1 per second. So that's how many seconds of flight time at maximum fuel it is. If, at least if you're at low altitude. Of course, higher altitude you do a bit better. You didn't take the monoprop out of the cockpit, so you're just carrying around some useless weight. It has oxidizer on board. Now, what do you have oxidizer on board for? There is no, these don't have a kind of, like, switch mode or anything, and you don't have any rockets on board. I'm just running through the action groups, hitting them blindly. Nope. Nothing special. Interesting. It flies alright. It's not, you know, it's not a fighter. It's not like you would fight against other fighters with it, you know what I mean? But it flies fairly nice. It looks fairly nice. I'd say it could probably carry some payload. I think the rear landing gear need to be fixed, like I said. And also the fact that this thing by default was set to be on the pitch controls, that was a problem. It'd also be better if it had more power in the engines. Of course, if I remember correctly, they've constantly nerfed the atmospheric engines since the 1.0 release, and this may have been made in 1.1 or something, or 1.0.4 or something instead of, I mean, a little bit older version than right now, because I'm in 1.0.4, and I know they've changed things a little bit here and there between the 1.0 versions. So, you know, that can make things that were awesome a little less awesome. Let's move on to the next thing. Oh god, that's not going to end well. Yep, that went well. And next up by Matt C, we have a design that's supposedly based on the Sukhoi Su-37, which is an experimental single-seat, super maneuverable jet fighter. Huh, your center of laughter. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Your center of lift is a little further back than I'd expect. I really, really like how small this is. Most of the time when people make fighters and replicas of fighters, they're very large. And this is very small, and I like it. Other than the fact that landing gear clipping into the intakes right there, that's bugging me. But the overall, I like your use of this adapter here. Like, it leaves a bit of a gap, which is a bit odd, but it looks nice anyhow. That is... I'm really, really just loving the creativity that went into designing this to look as good as it does, and be as tiny as it is. And this is the unarmed version. Matt C, if I didn't already say, is the one who made this. And there's another version of it. And this version is, of course, armed with some missiles, which I'm curious how many missile tests they did with the real thing, because this is a experimental jet fighter, as I already said, that only ended up being experimental. What is this? Is this that guidance thing that I needed for the other missiles that I didn't know I needed? Ooh, there's a giant radar now? Sorry, I'm getting distracted by BD Armory because it has new stuff that I wasn't aware of. Okay, I found the part. Apparently this is an ECM jammer. Cool. Yeah, so the Su-37, which this is roughly based off of, was basically an upgraded Su-27, one of several different types that were basically Su-27s that were upgraded, and this particular format never went into production. I'm kind of paraphrasing a lot, and of course I'm reading this from Wikipedia, so of course take that with a grain of salt, and if you know the true story or more details, feel free to comment below. Yeah, let's go ahead and fly this thing. Alright, let's see how super maneuverable this... Let's go ahead and arm it first because, you know, it's just something I always do. Alright, this thing is supposed to be very fast, or at least, actually I don't recall that being one of the things that it did, but it probably is, and based on the fact that it's very tiny with two engines back here, I imagine it will be pretty fast. Interesting. Those are slightly awkwardly clipped, but they're alright. Like, it didn't catch my eye right away. It kind of a little bit odd, but still cool. I'm noticing this thing has the same problem with the rear landing gear, kind of. Oh wow, oh wow, okay. Yeah, I can tell you what went wrong there after I'm done looking at the pretty effects. That is pretty. Alright, so here's what went wrong there. The front of this plane is, of course, one part. It branches out along here to two separate main fuselages, and the wings and these little bits in here are all attached to those two separate fuselages. Now, if you'll look as I'm rolling down the ground here, hopefully I can get into the air safely this time. Good, good, I did. Now you'll notice as I put stress on the airframe, you should notice this. You should notice the two sides start to separate a little. Actually, once it's in the air, they're sticking together very well. However, on the ground, the force of trying to maneuver while going at high speed along the ground caused it to separate a little bit and wobble, and that wobble led to an oscillation, which led to it bouncing off of the ground in a weird way, which led to explosions. And oh my god, have I mentioned how beautiful this plane is? Look at this. Like, this is just amazing. I love this plane. It is very nice. Alright, let's go ahead and fire some missiles for no apparent reason. Yes. Oh, that is so much nicer. Because I found out last time I was recording that there is a audio setting in BD Armory now. And I turned it down. So now, every time I fire a missile, it doesn't blow out my ears. That's nice. And of course it has a gun. Very nice. Oh shit. Yeah. Oh! Oh. I was like, oh, I survived. And then I didn't. Yeah. That was pretty fun. So the only thing I have to say about this is you might want to strut the two sides together, just like one tiny strut right here would do it. And you also want to look into the possibility of manipulating the design, if possible, to bring the center of lift closer to the center of mass, because that would give you more maneuverability. Otherwise, I love the way it flies, I love the way it looks, and it's well armed as well, the armed version. Obviously this is the unarmed version I'm looking at now. I'd say great job. I like it. Alright, next up we have a MiG-29. If you haven't spotted the theme yet, these are all Soviet aircraft today that I'm taking a look at. This, oh, that's a new B9 part as well. I need to really look over the new B9 because there is a lot of stuff in it that I don't know anything about. Oh, it's got a little service bay? What? What? Oh, and it's got, oh, cool. It like has its, oh, has power generation in a little service bay up front. That is very cool. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at what this thing's supposed to look like. It's got the curved intakes. Good, good. It looks pretty accurate. This is very nice. I am liking this. Alright, so this is supposed to be... Oh, it's the fulcrum! Oh, duh! The fulcrum! Yes, I'd heard about this. I'd read about this before. I don't remember much about it, other than the fact that it got the name fulcrum because it was like the pivotal fighter for the Soviet side. I may be slightly misremembering that, in which case, sorry. But yeah. Oh, hey, this has got the little camera thing on it. That is cool. Alright, yes, sorry. I'm geeking out about BD Armory just a little bit now because stuff. Ooh, I don't like how this is kind of slightly... just out in the open in a weird way, just in the airstream. It looks a bit wrong, but it's a very tiny detail that's off like that. Of course, this sticks out a little bit oddly as well, but again, you know, you just kind of have to live with some of those things. And overall, though, I am very much liking the look of this, and let's go ahead and give it a try. It's by a guy named Walt. Alright, so originally oriented towards combat against enemy aircraft, many MiG-29s have been furnished as multi-role fighters capable of performing a number of different operations, such as taking off very quickly. I like that. This is very well balanced on the ground. That's, oh my god, this thing is beautiful to fly. I'm very much enjoying how it flies. Yes, it is not supposed to be super maneuverable, I am told. Therefore, it does not turn quite as fast as some of the things that I have flown. But this, I like it. Kind of slight wobble when I'm turning, but that's more of a side effect of the PID controller from the SAS than the plane itself. Actually, let's go ahead and try flying it a little bit without SAS. Let's go ahead and, oh, that is a bad idea. Let's get a little more altitude before I do something stupid like that. Very nice. I'm liking this. Very nice. Where was I? Yes. Commonly uses a range of air-to-surface armaments and precision munitions these days, apparently. Apparently. Yes. Wikipedia. Wikipedia, folks. It is fairly accurate, usually. Let's go ahead and open up BD Armory and screw around with firing the weapons, because why not? Very nice. I am enjoying flying this thing. That is nice. As nice as the other one looked, this one looks really nice too. It's bigger. It's a lot bigger. And it's also, whoa, equally a joy to fly. Of course, never do negative turns like that. I have G-effects installed still. I didn't realize I still had G-effects installed, but I realize now because I almost read it out doing that. Here, let's do it again to demonstrate. G-effects. Yes. See, the screen's going red because I'm pulling negative Gs. Very nice. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by other things, but yeah, this thing is... Oh, yep, we got those. Of course, we're not locking onto anything right now. Oh god, I didn't pull up in time. And that is how you die. Oh hey, probe core. Turn slowly. Yeah. That is... Hold on, let's take a look at this. Oh no, the drag doesn't seem to change depending on the angle. That's... Either that or it was so little drag that it didn't really show the difference very well. So next, Walt also sent along some... What the hell frame rate? There we go. Now it's better. He sent along some MiG-25s, which... That is... I'd say the wings should be a little higher, it looks like, from the image that I am looking at, comparing this to the real thing. Oh, wow. The nose dips down. That is very interesting, the way... That is very nicely done. Does the nose actually dip down like that? I don't think it dips down quite like that, but it's close. Very interesting. I don't think the wings quite... I don't know, maybe, you know, the reference picture I'm looking at isn't exactly the best angle to judge these from. Why is my frame rate tanking so much when I look outside? But when I look this way, it's fine. That is really weird, and that only just started happening. Either that or I didn't notice before. No, no, it just started happening. That is weird. But yeah, it's a MiG-25, which is called a Foxbat, according to NATO reporting names, which is kind of a cool name. It was built in 1964. Well, the first prototype was flown in 1964. Goes pretty fast, but can damage the engines if it goes fast. Oh, it's saying that it could go a little bit faster, but you'd risk damaging the engines. Has a powerful radar and 4 anti-air missiles. For anti-air? Air-to-air. Yeah, sure. The large wing platform suggested an enormous and highly maneuverable fighter at a time when U.S. design theories were also evolving towards higher maneuverability due to combat performance in the Vietnam War. The appearance of the MiG-25 sparked serious concern in the West and prompted dramatic increases in performance for the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle, then under development. Let's see, someone defected to the U.S. in a MiG-25, and it turned out that its weight made it have the large wings, not it being like super maneuverable. Yeah, it's a heavy plane. Oh my god, what has happened to the sky? That is, I think the scatterer mod just like blew itself up. That is interesting. It looks like Apocalypse now. I like this actually. Why is my camera all the way? There we go, that's better. Yep, let's fly around in the Apocalypse. Haha, that is weird. Alright, so apparently it's an interceptor. I don't actually know what that means. I assume it intercepts things. I don't know what it would intercept. I assume enemy aircraft at long range, which means it should be a long-range plane. That is if I can get it off the ground without bouncing on the runway so much. Ah, look at those effects. So beautiful. Why is the sky evil? Why are we in the apocalypse? Seriously, it's the apocalypse. That is awesome, though. Alright, so, of course, we have 4 of each type of missiles, AIM-120s and Sidewinders. Sidewinders. What they have a thing. Oh, AIM-9. Yeah. AIM-120 and AIM-9. Yep. And then something else down here that I don't know what it... Oh. An ECM jammer. There we go. I can turn it on and off. I imagine it takes a lot of electric power, which is why we have electric generators in here. Yep, electric generators in there, just like the other plane that this person sent in. We also have some other stuff up here. I really need to take a look at BD Armory stuff again. I like the way this flies. I just noticed the missiles... Did you know these missiles are pointed inwards? Is that intentional? I don't think that's intentional. It doesn't seem like the best idea. Flies pretty well upside down. Not that that's a standard performance check you'd perform. My targeting reticule is in my own plane. Aw, I don't like how this is kind of like stuck in here. I mean, that's not really their fault per se, it's more of a fault of the way that... No, yeah, see, it's kind of, yeah. Although, if the IVAs were made slightly differently, that probably wouldn't happen, but I'm not going to blame them for that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Very nice. How long have I been recording? I'm probably getting a bit loopy now. Oops, this is the wrong button. There we go. Alright. It's definitely supposed to be a long-range plane. It's kind of, it looks funny. It looks boxy, which means they did a good job of replicating it because the plane it's based on looks very boxy. I'm enjoying flying this one as well. Not quite as much, but still enjoying it pretty well. Let's go ahead and fire some missiles randomly. And then guns, of course, and... Wait, did I fire all of them? Oh, no, I didn't. There we go. Very nice. Now to fire the gun. Oh, the gun's in, like, one intake. Oh, it's under it. I didn't even see it there. It's under it. That's cool. Oh, the actual where it's aiming is, like, way up there relative to the cockpit. That's kind of funny. I like it. It's fairly maneuverable, but not so maneuverable that it makes it hard to line up on a target. So, you know, even from way back here, we can kind of line up on the, Oops. I say that, and then I completely fail to aim at what I was targeting. Then pull out of it. I like how the, because the parts move slightly, the, intakes pull up when we pull up. Hold on, let's take a look at that. From the outside. Yeah, you definitely should strut the front of this down a little bit because that is not how a plane should do. Are we are we? Oh yes, we're going very, very slowly right now. I get the feeling this thing does not have the thrust to weight ratio to really want to be going vertical all the time. I also get the feeling that I probably shouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. Although, no, we're picking up airspeed, and with airspeed we're picking up controllability, which is nice. Let's just shoot at the SPH, no, VAB for a while, and then barely not hit it, because I thought I was going to hit it for a moment there. And I'm just going to perform a standard test of thrust to weight ratio by going straight up and stalling, and then trying to recover from that stall. That is literally the goal right here. I want to stall it, and then recover. That is if it stalls. It might not. Are we going to do alright? I mean, we're slowing down steadily. I'm definitely doing basically a stoppie with the plane. You know, slowly. It's going to take a while. It has a thrust-to-weight ratio close to 1, but not 1, is the impression that I'm getting. Ooh, I'm looking at a prototype that has a drop tank. This does not have a drop tank, however. It's very interesting. Oh, we're about to fall backwards now. Okay, time to try and regain control by pulling out of it as we start falling. And we've successfully pulled out of it. Because, I mean, even though we're falling right now, I can just pull back up and we're fine. Very nice. Did you know my game has actually crashed between every time I've tried to go back to the SPH? Pretty much. I think there was one time in this video I managed to go back to the SPH without it crashing. The other thing I wanted to mention is that Walt is very aware that the MiG-25 did not have a gun on it, because he explicitly wanted to point that out in the email that he sent me. And he was also working on some other designs and playing some war games with them, which was pretty interesting. Lastly for today, we have 3 planes. There are 3 versions. There's just the stock version, a version with weaponry, and a version with drop tanks. Of an Su-27, these are all created by Shannon. Cool, it's got a ladder on it. Like, no planes have ladders. No one makes ladders on their planes. Everyone conveniently forgets about the need for a ladder, except Shannon here. Interesting. I'm liking the look of this. Alright. It has deployable flaps and a dragging parachute. Less for functionality, more for likeness to the real fighter. Interesting. I will have to take a look at the action groups then, or maybe it's in here. Aha! Retract flaps, half flaps, and full flaps. 0 to stow the ladder. Yeah, wait, what? You couldn't close it in the SPH? That's... Oh, wow, I can't either. Yeah, some sort of bug, alright. That's interesting. I'm guessing if I examine the file itself, there's like a module missing or something that allows this to work. That I don't know. I don't know. That's weird. But yes, okay. Close all non-essential air takes. Wait, why would you want to close all non-essential air takes? I'm confused. Now I'm confused. Why? Why? Is it because they add more drag, or or something like that? Or is... I mean, more air is good, right? Someone explain that to me, because I did not know that was a thing that you would ever want to care about. I like the way it looks. Like, it's... Some people might think that this is something that would bother me with the clippiness. Well, that bit in there, the fact that that clips back there, is kind of annoying, but it's so far in there that I barely can tell. But this, I actually kind of like this kind of like box around a thing, because it's just so random. Like, why would you do that? You wouldn't. But there it is. There's where the drag chute comes out. Alright, so 1, 2, and 3 for the flaps. Of course, before I do that, I will have to hit 0 to retract the ladder and close those intakes. The Su-27, twin-engine, super-maneuverable fighter aircraft intended as a direct competitor to the United States 4th-generation fighters such as the F-14 Tomcat and F-15 Eagle. It has a 3.5 kilometer range, heavy aircraft ordnance, and sophisticated avionics and high maneuverability, which is spelled wrong. Huh. How do you edit Wikipedia? I think you have to make an account, because they spelled maneuverable wrong, which is kind of funny, because normally you wouldn't see those kinds of errors. And I can definitely vouch for it being pretty maneuverable, because I'm doing this little dive down here, and it's turning quite quickly. Gonna just come down here, and you should not do this unless you know the performance of a vehicle before you start doing it, which I do not, but I'm kind of figuring it out. Oh fuck, that's gonna end badly in a moment. We weren't using that. That was actually kind of convenient because I wanted to go to the armed version and show you what it looks like with a bunch of missiles on it, and then immediately go to the drop tank plus armed version, which just has giant... Those look slightly ridiculous. I'm sorry, but they do. I don't really blame you for that. That's just kind of how KSP is. I would have, if I were you, I would have gone to the little offset tool, and I would have offset these a little higher up, because I think that would look better. I know that's what I did with the Mangle. So, interesting. It's also kind of interesting that I should come across an Su-27 after I did the, what was it? It was that one that was based on an Su-37, I believe? Or was it the Su-34? Which is based on, I already forgot, see? I'm like I said, I'm reading this stuff as I say it. Because that mentioned that, oh yeah, I forgot to close the ladder. That's kind of important. I also forgot to test the flaps on the other ones, so I will test it with this, of course. The, what was I gonna say? Su-27. Oh yes, the Su-27 is like the base design that several other designs were based on, such as the Su-30, which is a 2-seat dual-role fighter for all-weather, air-to-air, and air-to-surface deep interdiction missions, which sounds really awesome and makes me want to play a particular mission from Ace Combat 4 where you had to fly low under the radar and take pictures, and actually it's Ace Combat 5 that mission's in, but I got confused for a moment and said Ace Combat 4. But yeah, this thing flies great. Even with the drop tanks on it, flies great. Very nice. I'm curious, you know, how much a difference in performance those drop tanks being on there is. Like, if you did the statistics on it, what the difference would be. Oh yes, this thing flies nice. I like it. I like it very much. Now what was I going to do? I was going to test the flaps, but before I test the flaps, yes, there's also an Su-33 Flanker D, which is a Navy Fleet Defense Interceptor for use on aircraft carriers, of course. And further versions include a side-by-side two-seater, the F-34 fullback. Hold on, I've seen that before. Oh, Su-34. I meant to say, if I said something else. And that's one of the other planes I was looking at this time around, wasn't it? Yes, that's the one. Wait, so the Su-34 has side-by-side seats? I have to look up pictures of this thing now, which is, you know, yeah. Because that is... Oh my god, that is cool. Sorry, I know. I should be talking about this one right now. Yes, I actually forgot what this is. Oh yeah, it's an Su-27. And now to test the flaps. So, 1 appeared to do nothing. 2 does that. Does 1... Oh, I think 1 turns off the flaps. 2 is half flaps, and 3 is full flaps. Now, I'm curious how much those actually, like, do what they're supposed to. Because if I remember correctly, flaps are supposed to increase lift, essentially. And... Oh, well, wait a second. They kinda are. They kinda are, in a way. But they're producing more, drag than lift, you know what I mean? Like, they're not... I don't think they're helping as much as you might want them to. Then again, maybe they are. Maybe I'm not reading that correctly. Because see, I'm looking at them and going how they're kind of balanced by these on the rear, which also you might have noticed just completely failed to have any effect there. That's because the airflow got to be so low that they stopped being effective. Because, you know, I slowed down so much. Now I'm turning those back off. So now they're acting more like their normal selves. And I'm going very slow. Well, not very slow, but kind of slow. I love how these are both the roll and pitch. They look very cool. I always love that design, having these as pitch and roll. Like, there's several aircraft that do a similar thing with that, and I think it's cool. Oh yeah, let's mess with the yaw capability. Uh-oh. That is not really necessarily a good thing for your plane to be doing. Let's do it again, actually. Let me pull back out of this dive, get a little bit of altitude, and pitch to the side so hard that we go like this, and then turn into it. Very cool. Alright, let's get level, and let's do it again the other way. So you turn all the way to the side, and then this thing's just boxy enough to where turning all the way to the side like that does that. I'm sorry, I had to drop those because, you know, reasons. And oh, you know what? That's the gun, I bet. That's the gun on it. Yep, that's the gun. Because I'm like, why is there a rocket and a parachute on the same thing? Speaking of which of, fuck it, we're having a drag shoot, which isn't very effective. They already said that, and I'd agree with them based on the fact that it's not slowing us down all that much. It's probably a terrible idea. I'm going to cut the engines now, deploy the landing gear, turn the engines actually to just there. I'm not going to turn them off entirely, just mostly. Of course, you'd never fly around with a parachute like this. That is just dumb. But hey, that's what I'm here for. Being dumb and doing plane reviews. Yeah, it's a very nice design. Thank you very much, Shannon, for sending it in. I hope I said the right name there, because if I didn't, I'm an idiot. Ah. Oh, okay, that worked. I was scared that we were going to die just then. Oh yeah, it has an air brake, of course. Very cool. Oh, look at that. That is very nice. That's thumbnail quality right there. That was the wrong button. That was... yes. Very nice. Thanks for watching. As always, see you in space.